Hey, it's Chef Evelyn here, and I am back with another video. And listen, I am so excited that the applications for the Chef's Table group experience are now open for the month of January. We get started at the end of this month. So if the Chef's Table experience is something that you have been thinking about and considering or on the fence about, or maybe you applied before but you didn't follow through with the process, now is the time to apply or reapply as we are getting ready to get started. And so in today's video, I wanted to share with you just a few things on how the Chef's Table experience is not your average coaching program, that is much different than other coaching programs that you may have experienced. So the first thing is that the Chef's Table experience is really focused on culinary entrepreneurship education. So my goal is not just to give you the steps. I absolutely want to give you the steps to help you build a high-end culinary brand, to attract high-end clients, to increase your profits, to build a sustainable business. But I also want you to understand the theory and the why behind it, so that as your business grows, as you grow, as your products and services may change, that you still have the in-depth understanding of the principles of successful entrepreneurship, right? That way that no matter what happens, whether a pandemic happens, whether a lockdown happens, whether the way you need to work changes, or the what you want to do changes, that you still know, okay, this is how I craft, right, a strategic marketing plan. These are the elements that need to go into a high-end client experience. These are the 13 elements of a customer service plan, right? Like, I want you to have an understanding. One of my favorite things that one of my clients says, she was like, Evelyn, this is like getting my MBA in culinary entrepreneurship. And that was one of the greatest compliments she could have gave me, because a lot of times people just give us a step-by-step checklist, and that works for the moment. But when trends change and, you know, different social media pops up or different things are happening, we don't really understand how to transition or adapt or incorporate new things, because all we knew was they told us do Facebook ads, or they told us to do this, without really explaining the theory behind what we were doing and where it fit in a bigger strategic plan. So that's where the Chef's Table is a little bit different. You know, there's a time and a place for just the tactical steps, but I feel that that is making that person forever dependent upon that coach. But when you really get the steps and the education behind it, then you have a greater transformation. So that's one of the ways that I know that the Chef's Table experience is different than your average coaching program, right? The other thing, another reason why the Chef's Table experience is kind of different than most programs that you will run into, is that this is not just based on theory. So I don't teach what I have not done. And so a lot of times, you know, I've had people come to me who want to start a restaurant or a food truck, and I turn them away and I say, listen, business is business, and I'm pretty sure that you could get some valuable information from me about those businesses, but because I have not done those businesses, I won't be able to give you that experience, you know, learning, that experience theory, that yes, here is the theory, here is the educational component. Let me tell you what that looked like when I did it in practical application. Let me show you what that looked like when my clients have put that into action, right? And so what I've seen in a lot of other coaching programs, and it doesn't mean that you can't get results there, is there's a lot of theory based on what they've read, what they've heard, and it's not solely based on what they have actually done, like the tangible results they've been able to get for themselves and the tangible results they've been able to get for their clients. And so for me, I am really, really committed to only teaching what I have done and what I have shown my clients how to do, so that when you're in the thick of it and things are happening and inquiries are coming in and you're working with clients and you're booking different, you know, projects and things like that, that I can answer your questions and say, well, this is what I did when I was in a similar situation. This is what that looked like. Here's some things to look out for. Here's the things you make sure you want to do. So the curriculum and the framework is based in real world experience. It's kind of like when you went to college and you had the professors, like my undergraduate degrees are in engineering, and it's like you had the professors who were giving you all of this like physics theory and all this engineering theory, but they had never worked in the industry. All they had was textbook learning. And so that was good to a point, but then when you went and got on the job, you were like, oh, I only know this in theory. I don't know all of these. Look out for this. This happens, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's kind of like if somebody was reading a baking book about baking at a high altitude, but the person never actually baked at a high altitude. And then there was somebody who had a coaching program who was like, I lived in the mountains my whole life, and then I moved to ocean level, and let me show you the difference between cooking below sea level, like on the coast, and cooking in the mountains in Colorado, or baking in the mountains in Colorado. That person is giving you dual, like, here is the difference, right? That's how the chef's table is different. Also, this is not just a coaching program where you get on a call and you just ask questions and I just answer questions. Q&A is definitely a huge part of the chef table experience, so much so that I'm always committed to answering any question that's on the floor, whether we're quote unquote overtime or not, right? Like that's like my clients laugh, they're like, what time? You know what I'm saying? Like we have a start time, but I will answer every question that is on the call. But it's more than that. There is an actual step-by-step framework. So you can know I need to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and so on and so forth, so that you can see your progress, so that you can have all of your policies, procedures, strategic plan, things like that documented. And it's not just, someone hopping on a Zoom call and just free for all answering questions. A lot of higher ticket masterminds or programs that seem similar to the chef's table are just that. It's like, okay, just get on here and ask your questions, and there's not really a framework for you to follow, and so you may not feel like you're making progress. If you're a list person like I am, and you like, okay, but have I checked all the bases? That is what the chef's table is, right? There is a step-by-step framework that I've used for several years, that I've created from everything I've learned from starting my first food business at 15, right? All the way from being a full-time chef for over a decade. So there is a framework there to follow, and it's in order. It's not sporadic. It's not there for you to figure out what order to put it in, right? Like I've taken coaching programs and different things from people that had amazing information, and I had to be like, so where do I start? Like, what order am I supposed to go in? And there was no like assessment for me to see where I was, for me to know what was missing. And we go through that inside the chef's table experience. So you never have to wonder where you are, if you're missing steps, what you don't know. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know if we're going to cover this or not cover that. All of that is detailed, outlined inside the chef's table experience. Also, the chef's table is also designed to make sure that you can still have a life while growing your business. So I am not a fan of hustle and grind culture. I am not a fan of phrases like you can sleep when you're dead. That is, you will never hear me preach that. I am so committed to you having quality of life, for you enjoying your entrepreneurial journey. Yes, you have to put in the work, but I'm also not about your business being your whole life. I don't believe in work-life balance, but I do believe in work-life harmony. And so what I have found though, is that most people in coaching programs, people are like, you need to be all in. And what they mean by all in is that you need to put your other life stuff on the back burner. And that's just not practical, because you'll end up resenting your business, or they just completely ignore the fact that life is happening while you're in a coaching program. And when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes the lines are blurred between life and business, and to be in programs where they just don't even address some of the life factors, the mindset, right? The things that are going on, some other desires that you have, right, while you're building this business, can sometimes make it feel really, really lonely, which is why inside the chef's table experience, we do the business curriculum live, but there is an on demand lifestyle curriculum to make sure that you are enjoying the life that you're building, right? While you're building it, that you're not waiting until you reach a certain point before you enjoy your life, right? So when I say live, cook, and work on your own terms, I really, really mean that. So there is a business building curriculum, but there is also a lifestyle curriculum that you can go through at your own pace, right? To ensure that you are creating the right mix of work-life harmony that works for you. So I just wanted to do that quick video to share some things that you may not have known about the Chef's Table Group experience that kind of sets it apart from other culinary entrepreneurship programs. You know, it's not hustle, hustle, hustle. It's not you should be cheaper than a restaurant. It's not lower your prices. You know, it's none of that. It is very strategic. It is educational, but we're also about implementation. And so maybe I should add this in here too. I'm also not a fan of creating an environment where all you do is sit and soak up information, but you don't actually implement it right. So a lot of times, you know, maybe you've taken a course or a program or bought an ebook or a resource or something like that, and it just sat there, right? Or you attended the sessions and the information is good, but then you never had time to either carve down to actually implement what you learned, or you felt like you were going to get to it, and they didn't really have the structure in place, right, to encourage you or to help you actually implement what you were learning. And I'm very, very big on implementation. You won't get any results if all you do is sit up and listen to the trainings, right? You'll get fat with knowledge and you'll have an empty bank account. And I want you both. I want you full of knowledge and I want your business full of clients and revenue, right? And so I built into the program, you know, workshopping time for you to actually, you know, use part of our call time to actually do the work, right? And so, yes, is there stuff that you're going to have to do outside of the program? Obviously, right? But I don't want you to feel like you never have any time and all that, you know, that the program is not designed to help you actually get a tangible result. I don't want you to just have information. I also want you to have transformation. So if you're like, Evelyn, listen, that sounds like exactly what I've been looking for, then I encourage you to apply for the Chef's Table program by going to chefevelyn.com/program. Applications are open through the end of this month, even though we're going to do a preliminary call at the end of the month. So if you want to jumpstart and get in early so you can be there for the orientation call, then I absolutely encourage you to do that. I'm taking a very intimate cohort of women through this 1-year program. So I would not wait till the last minute. It is going to fill up. Okay, it is going to fill up, okay? And I don't want you to be looking at me crazy because you waited to January 26th to apply and you're like, oh, there's no spots left, right? So with that being said, go to chefevelyn.com/program and I will see you in the next video. Peace.